Hello, bright and shiny beacon of light. I'm Michael Sandler, your host on Inspire Nation, coming to you live from, just on the New Hampshire border here. And I'm seeing a staggering image. So I want, if anybody can share in the chat, is my image looking strong? And in fact, my chat isn't even showing here, which is very interesting. So I do want to make sure that people are able to see me at this moment. And so I'm going to open up another window and see if people can see me, because I have no idea right now and no way to tell, which is very interesting that my own chat isn't showing up and there's no way to even share to see, which is interesting. So I have no idea if anybody can see me here this evening. What an interesting predicament we are in. So let me see what I can do, everybody. Bear with me one moment. This is kind of the joy of a YouTube Live, is seeing if everything is working properly. So let's take a look here on another window where hopefully I can see the chat and know if things are going well. So yes, we can see you. Woohoo. Michael is jerky. So we can hear and see you. Speech doesn't match your mouth. Is he not jerky for the rest of us? That's interesting. So we have a question of whether I am jerky or not. Yes, you're good. I see you. Hopefully not too jerky. It is very interesting. I'm seeing it as jerky as well, and I have absolutely no idea why. But let's dive into things, and hopefully the jerkiness takes care of itself. Excellent. I'm hearing some not so jerky. Fantastic. I wanted to talk with you tonight. Well, it's interesting. A little backstory here. Each week I go into automatic writing and I ask what it is that I get to talk with you about. And then I listen and hear from the angels, and they give me an idea of what I get to talk about. And what they said last week is, what we would like you to do is talk about angels and mystics. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. We have a class coming up on how to become a modern mystic that starts in about 10 days. And that's been, oh my God, it's been going gangbusters. So I definitely recommend come join us for that class. It's going to help you to truly become a modern mystic. And a modern mystic is somebody that sees without eyes, hears without ears, knows without thinking. It is being, living, staying, breathing, existing in a higher room at a higher vibration. So when they're saying angels and mystics, okay, I'll buy that. And we have the automatic writing experience, which is, that's our book here, bestseller, which helps you to communicate with angels, going on sale for half off tomorrow on Kindle. How does it get any better than this? And I'm going, okay, that makes sense. And then what I heard is, it's an interesting road. If you commune, and we're going to get to that word commune, if you commune with the angels, it helps you to become a modern mystic. But that if you are a mystic, it does not necessarily mean that you commune with the angels. One does not necessarily lead to the other. It's a one-way road, or it's an interesting road anyway. When you commune with the angels, you become a modern mystic. So I went to my automatic writing to try and understand what they meant by this. And I think I want to jump ahead of things. As everybody else, well, most everybody else, I have or had, or however we call it, a couple sets of grandparents. And my grandfather on my mother's side came through as I was channeling and learning what I was going to share this evening. So I never used to really share about it until I wrote automatic writing. I can channel quite a bit. It's not so much of, here's where your grandmother hid the jewelry or anything of that sort. I do get things that are verifiable, but it's not to that extent. What I get is profound teachings and an ability to communicate with people on the other side and really to learn from them and to heal wounds and heal relationships and make connections that weren't there before. And if a pet or a loved one is crossed over, to be able to make an even stronger connection now than before. And so my mom's mom has been coming through a lot lately, and I want to say I love her dearly. I think we've really gone a long way to healing a relationship that was kind of tenuous or tentative at best when she was here on planet Earth this time around. But her husband, um, Grandpa Kramer, to me, he was a saint. He was a saint here on Earth. And I never really thought about what that meant until I was channeling on communing with the angels. And so last night he came through, and we have our own little thing that we used to say, and that's how I know that it's him. He would say, "Hello there." And I would go, "Hello there." And it was like this thing out of the 1940s or something, how we said it to each other. And so last night, I'm doing my automatic writing. I'm communicating with the angels. I'm learning about how much when you kind of bathe in the water of the angels, how your vibration, how your energy goes up. And we're going to be talking more about that. You're going to learn how to kind of bathe with the angels, to swim with the angels tonight. And then for everybody affected by Hurricane Ida, we are going to do a group intention prayer meditation together. I'm hearing Ida, I'm hearing the fires, I'm hearing Afghanistan. We'll bring it all in tonight because there is a huge power of prayer and a huge power of group meditation. So you're going to want to stick around to the end. So Grandpa Kramer came through, and it was fascinating. So he was an amazing man. He was an amazing eye doctor. He was also a Freemason. How does it get any better than this? It was wild. I had no idea. I was thumbing through a book or pamphlet that his kids had put together years after he passed, and saw him in his Freemason gear. I don't know if he was a Grand Mason, intro Mason. I have no idea. But I always wondered, what did it mean that he was in this kind of secret society? Because what I remembered him is dancing and singing and people yelling, "Hello, Doc," as they'd walk by his Brooklyn office, and he'd stick his head out the window and wave and yell back to them. And he was so musical and so joyous. And then when he prayed, I've almost never seen anybody pray like he did. He was solemn. He was in celebration. He was, well, what he calls it is a trance-like state when he prayed. And when I was talking to him last night, and this has to do with angels, so bear with me here. What he said is, and this is exactly what the angels have been saying, praying to someone, praying to something has an energy to it, but not nearly the same energy as being in communion or discussion with. And I know the intro or title of the show says the one question to ask your angels. And that question is, how do I get in communion with you? Communion, not how can I communicate with you, not how can I speak to you, not how can I pray to you, but how can I get in communion? And so Grandpa Kramer said that he was always in prayer. The reason he joined the Freemasons, the reason that he went to temple all the time, what he called davening, or was in shul, I guess I believe a Yiddish word for synagogue or temple, is he said, I was trying to be in prayer 24 hours a day, but not the prayer that you think of. It's interesting. I was led down a series of roads today as I rode from almost Newburyport, Salisbury, Massachusetts, up to Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And I stopped at a road called Pray Road and took a photo of myself on Pray Road. And I'm like, wow, would have been cool to do a video because we have there's a little inner circle here where we have a not backstage pass. That's with our patron page, which is also awesome. But both on the backstage pass, the patron page, and the inner circle, you get behind the scenes video. So I'm like, oh, could have been cool to take a video there. With that said, communion, he said everything he did was about being in communion with spirit. And then he challenged me to look up the word communion. And so here's what I got, basically Webster's. The sharing or exchange of intimate thoughts and feelings, especially when the exchange is on a mental or spiritual level. Let me repeat that. The sharing or exchanging of intimate thoughts and feelings, especially when the exchange is on a mental or spiritual level. What this means is when you pray to the angels, stop it. No, don't stop it. But dive deeper and pull these guys out and listen. It's fascinating. It is the listening that is perhaps more important than anything. But the listening begins by making your angels your BFFs. Make your angels. I like cold water more than warm. What do you think about that? Angels, why did I have a dream where these people were sinking through the floor? What can you tell me about that? Angels, Jessica and I went out to dinner tonight, and we felt kind of bamboozled by the restaurant. The restaurant gave us old kale salad. The kale was yellow. And then they said, the kale is supposed to be yellow. I thought it had chlorophyll in it, and kale would be green. Maybe some darker colors. We've seen some other color kales, but not in the yellow, withered, nasty fashion. So I go, angels, do I write a negative review? Which I'm not a fan of at all. What do I do in this situation? Help me understand this. And then I listen. That's being in communion. What my grandfather said is the most important part of prayer is to listen for the replay. To listen for the replay. So he would be in temple, and he'd be reading in Hebrew, reading and bowing his head, and reading and bowing his head, and reading and bowing his head. And I would see this as a little kid. And honestly, as a little kid, the only thing I could think of was boring. I didn't understand what he was doing. I didn't understand why he was saying it. I didn't understand why he would stand for 5, 10, 30 minutes, 2 hours, even longer at a time, just bobbing his head and reading, bobbing his head. I'm like, that's the most boring thing in the world. It turns out that's not what he was doing. That was the appearance. He was in communion with the angels, because what he did is he read in a trance-like state as he listened for the replay, listened for what was coming back in. That's what we get to do. We get to listen so that things come back into us. When you do this, we've got this whole class, this whole program every Wednesday evening on becoming a modern mystic. It's Michael Sandler's School of Mystics. It's cool, and you can become a mystic too. It's really, really cool. Ali will put the link down below. It begins a week from Wednesday. When you start to pray at this level, when you start to have heartfelt conversations with your angels, which certainly having a tool like automatic writing is a phenomenal way to do it. That's the best way that I know. But just having those conversations, your vibration starts to go up and go up more and more and more until you're vibrating at such a high level that everything going on beneath you, I'm putting that in quotes, we're talking 3D here, but the world isn't really three-dimensional, but we'll play with it. The things that are going on beneath you don't have the same bite to them. This month, when I've been teaching what's now becoming Michael's School of Mystics, we called it the Manifestation Mastery Circle up till now. And you can, I'm sure there are people in the chat who would love to share how much they've gotten out of it. I'll let their words speak rather than mine. But we've been talking about the Hermetic concept, the ancient Egyptian concept of as above, so below. And as above, so below has so many more meanings to it than simply put yourself on the other side of the veil and it will become real. Now, that is one of them. That is important. It also is important to understand that what you reflect up here is cast back down upon you. That's why Paul Selig's guides say, what you damn damns you back. But it also means that you can play in kind of a magic mirror in the sky, imagine things and watch them reflect and appear. But in this case, what it means, as above, so below, is that when you start communion, having communion with the angels, your vibration comes up and comes up and comes up and comes up until you uncouple from the low-level vibrations of the earth. You uncouple from the heaviness. You uncouple from, it's something we've been teaching about, the karma, the cause and effect of the lowest level vibration. You wonder why there's all this negative news, why there's wars, why there's war, famine, Ida, COVID, fires, Afghanistan, all of it is by design to force us to wake up and choose something else. By design, they're to force us to wake up and choose something else. What is the something else we're supposed to do? We're supposed to remember our true nature. And we come out of that sleepwalking state. That sleepwalking state. And if you're watching this, you're out of the sleepwalking state. I just need to get you to a higher vibration. I think I said higher. I'm in Massachusetts. Why not? Get you to the higher vibration. As above, so below, as Hermeticism goes. As you make your angels your BFFs, as you daven, as you pray, as you cast your worries and concerns to the angel and create the space to listen for the replay, your vibration goes up and up and up till you're in this higher room looking down uncoupled. And when the owner of a restaurant, through her employee, tells you the salad is supposed to look old and mealy, you send her love. And you go, wow, she must really be struggling. And then if you have the patience, you go to the angels. And you say, angels, what do I do? Do I leave a Yelp review, a Google review? There was somebody else ordering the salad before we left. I wanted to warn them. They'll find out it's just a salad. But you get a higher level perspective on everything. That's what we're training you to do by bathing in the water of the angels. You want to bathe in the water, swim in the water, partake of the water, imbibe the water. The more that you can, and that's why it's the number one question to ask, The more that you ask the angels, how do I make you my best friend? How do I start speaking to you 24/7? The more you are completely freed from the heaviness of this world and embark upon the journey of becoming a modern mystic. Again, a modern mystic. Hears without ears, sees without eyes, knows without thought. In essence, you're uncoupled from the worrying, thinking mind. Your mind is free to become a receiver of love, a receiver of goodness, a receiver of mystical, magical understandings and joy that you can't experience when you're fully coupled to the earth. Now, I'm not talking about, we all know spiritual people who go, I'm spiritual. Whee! I'm not talking about that. I like staying grounded because when I'm grounded, I can create, I can help, I can make a massive difference in other people's lives. So we're not talking about getting ungrounded. What we are talking about is helping the mind to let go of the lower level vibration and go from the transmitter of fear. Go to your New York Times, your Fox, your CNN, your Al Jazeera, your who knows what. Go to all of them. You'll find some great information in there. Anxiety. Fact, if you look at it, you'll see they'll get you scared of this one topic, and then they'll give you something else to feel a little bit better, and then take it over to the other side and get you afraid of it from there too. Not their fault. They're just amplifying the desire of your mind to be afraid. I want to say it's a double entendre, a double-edged sword. It's a double whammy for sure. When you're afraid, you're at the lowest level vibration possible. And when you're afraid, you don't go to communion with the angels. And that keeps us stuck. So do we want to call it a conspiracy theory? No. Do we want to call it a plan, a design by the man to keep us down? Well, call the man spirit. It is by design. This planet is to imbue and impose, there's the word for it, impose as much heaviness as possible until we decide to rise above it. Rise above it by communion with the angels, not just communicating with the angels, but by developing a relationship with the angels. That's why I push automatic writing so much. That's why I'm in automatic writing multiple times a day. Tell me about this. Tell me about that. Why did this dream happen? Why did the chicken, so to speak, woo, I love you, he's sleeping, cross the road? You bring it all and you listen. That's the key here. What happens when you listen? So I often talk about the power, and the power of prayer to me is profound. It changes everything. It does raise your vibration. But what prayer also does, so on the one level, it rewires your mind. The more that you're in prayer, and certainly the more that you're in communion, prayer and communion are a little different. Prayer is pointing out, communion is being in such a deep, profound relationship. But both of them rewire the mind to make it easier to get in communication with the other side. But what communion does is takes this, a massive step further. And don't worry, you don't have to remember all this. Come join us for class in 10 days. We're going to be showing you how to get in communion. Actually, the first month's class is using ancient Egyptian techniques we're going to be learning from Madame Blavatsky. Amazing. She taught Gandhi spirituality. Gandhi. She taught him. Madame Blavatsky brought over the ancient esoteric wisdom from the East, from Egypt, and made it accessible to the West. And so I'll be channeling her, and I'll be channeling the angels as we look at the best techniques, the easiest techniques to stay in communion 24/7, or at least more of the time. So come join us for class. And Allie will put that link down below. Very inexpensive, 4 Wednesdays in a row. Keep going as long as you'd like. It's goodness after goodness as we raise your vibration each week. But going back to communion helps bring your mind along for the ride. What does that mean? It means your mind has grappling hooks into the ground to keep you grounded in reality, which actually isn't real at all. But your mind and your ego are terrified of anything outside of the norm. Your mind and your ego would rather see you suffer than the possibility of something greater if there is a risk involved, any risk at all. But the more that you're in communion with the angels, the more that you talk with the angels, the more that you get a higher level perspective, the more the mind begins to give up. The more the mind starts waving the white flag, the ego goes, oh, there he goes again. All right, there you go. Let's see what comes of this. There was a bike ride I did. I was a pro cyclist a long time ago. I still go out on what I like to consider epic bike rides. There was a bike ride I did a month or two ago where I had my headphones on so that the Google GPS could guide me to where I was going. And it kept trying to take me down this non-existent road, riding up and down this road in New Jersey. And it kept saying, turn right on Mining Road or Old Mine Road or something like that. I don't see a road. Ride bike. It says, make a U-turn. When possible, make a U-turn. Go back, turn left on Old Mine Road. I don't see a road. Turn right on, I don't see a road. And I had a decision to make. Logic dictated, I give up on this. It's nuts. But there was an intuitive pull inside of me. In fact, the angels were speaking. And I said, all right, in Google we trust. And I went back and found buried behind some rocks and bushes a trail, which I guess was an old mine road, which led me beneath a dam, which was kind of wild, which had me clamber up on top of the dam, which was wilder still, to the most amazing, pristine, peaceful reservoir where it was legal to kayak that became one of my favorite places in all of New Jersey, this super peaceful place to paddle with Jessica and with her family for that matter, that came out of that communion, that came out of my mind losing its resistance, losing its grip on the heaviness of this reality and opening up to something greater. The more you're in communion with the angels, you have greater understanding, greater wisdom, greater kindness, greater compassion. These are all mystical qualities. That's why we started our School of Mystics. Compassion, love, empathy, understanding, higher level perspective, higher level vibration. In other words, you're working on ascending while still here on earth. A mystic to me, I have this image of like a Swami um, on like a magic carpet several feet above the ground. Now, when I teach you how to become a mystic, I don't expect you to levitate on the carpet. If that does, please show me how you do it. I sure don't know how to do that. But it's about raising that vibration, looking at the world entirely differently, as if you are an angel here on earth. You may have heard the Silicon Valley expression, and we're going to open it up to questions in just a few minutes here. You may have heard the Silicon Valley expression, which to me is actually quite dangerous. The expression goes, you are the result of your 5 closest friends and their 5 closest friends. The danger in it lies that any go-getter who listens to this will start cutting off dear, precious relationships, going, well, that guy is not a millionaire or a billionaire, and I am a direct result of my 5 closest friends and their 5 closest friends, so I better cut this person out. Craziness. And yet we've been indoctrinated to do it. However, let's look at the positive of this. What if your best friends are your angels? What if the best friends are Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, Uriel, who you write to or speak to each and every day? How would that change your life if your new best friends, and therefore by proxy their best friends, were the angels? That's what we're talking about here tonight, is getting outside of the box, getting a little uncomfortable, getting in communion and talking with the angels as much as you possibly can. As above, so below is about taking an inward dive toward ascension. As you dive in, you begin to spin upwards. And while we think of angels out here, everything is within us. And the more you reach out, the more that you start to spiral upwards and upwards, further and further still on your journey. That's what we're talking about, is spiraling upwards through this communion with the angels. One last concept. If you want to master your life, master your emotions, because your energy dictates everything. A modern mystic masters her or his emotions and can bring them back and bring them back. Notice we're still in human form. Car drives over your foot. You may not be thrilled with it in the moment, but you're able to bring yourself back quickly because your emotions are your prayers. That's why I'm a weather nut. And so I was watching a bunch of stuff on Ida until I checked in and I said, wow, you're throwing out a lot of emotion behind what you're watching. I went into prayer. I started saying prayers for people. I started meditating for people, sending out as much love as I could. And then I shut her down and got off, because our emotions are our greatest prayers. What gets answered is what we bring emotion to. And so if I watch about a storm, I literally, you literally, we all literally can make a difference in that storm. So instead, I went into prayer and communion about help the storm find the track that will do the least damage from a Cat 4, Cat 5. What will do the least damage? for our highest good and the highest good of all. I want to do a prayer for everyone because I'm not making light of this at all. But I was watching the emotions. To master your life, master your emotions. And you master your emotions when you're in communion more with the angels. Let them share, let them guide, let them, without judgment, help you to understand. Which means, and the last thing that I have before we open it up to questions is the single most important time to be in communion with the angels is not when you're fa la la, life is good. I'm such a good person. I'm such a good person. That's great. You're a good person, Michael. But the time to be in communion with the angels is when you don't feel like a good person. When you feel like or when you're really angry, when you're really upset, when you're really stressed out, when you're really freaked out, when you're completely spun, when you just can't understand that person, that thing, that other thing, or when you're beside yourself or overwhelmed or in tears. That's when you lean on your new BFF. That's when you go to the angels. That's when you share, not pray. Prayer, good. But next level, share everything that's on your mind and you listen. And they will help you to understand and then help you to raise your vibration to a higher level, to find an outcome that is not fear, worry, anxiety, and mind-based. Because this Earth School is a school of mind at present. It wasn't before. It won't be in the future. But right now, it's hypermind. It's kind of Darwinianism gone mad, which was created with mind. This place was never about survival of the fittest. To me, it was about survival of the most cooperative. And we'll be learning that as we get into cooperation with our angel brother and sisters. So with that said, I want to open it up to questions and thank you so much, Grandpa. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. How does it get any better than this? How does it get any better than this? So I'm going to open up to questions. I'm going to drink a quick sip of water here. Again, while I do that, you can go to the link. Allie can put it down below one more time. You can join Michael's School of Mystics. We are going to have an amazing, amazing class this coming month, beginning September 8th. The link is down below. And I think Looby Doo donated $10. Not I think, I know Looby Doo did. How does it get any better than this? Thank you so much, Looby Doo. Thank you so much, Looby Doo. Lots and lots of love. All right. Daniela with the first question of the evening. I've ordered Rudraksha, and I struggle with the pronunciation. I know what these beads are, or seeds for that matter. Rudraksha Mala. Will this help me communicate with the angels? Depends what you do with it. And I usually have beads on. My beaded bracelet retired itself, shall we say, a few weeks ago, and I haven't found a replacement that's felt right yet. I haven't tried that hard. But I use beads. Beads have actually radically helped me rewire my mind. Or I tend to use a stone, like this obsidian stone that Jessica got me for Sedona. Where the beads help the most to me, this is just my technique, is helping you to get in a higher vibrational state for communion. It can be gratitude. Thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for this beautiful day, going from one bead to the next. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Or running your thumb along the stone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Or it can be going to place of love. I send love to Daniela. I send love to everyone. I send love. I send love. I send love. And what that does, sort of like my grandfather in shul, my grandfather davening, my grandfather bobbing his head, reading Hebrew in prayer, is it takes you or knocks your it takes you to out of your thinking mind, or you could say it knocks your thinking mind out of play and puts you in a higher vibrational state. Now, it's important at that time because when I do a great interview, I'm continuously running through my stone. I send love. I send love. I send love. But now I'm not focusing on the sending love, because if I focus on the sending love, I can't hear anything. And so it becomes this background process of helping my energy up and up. And I feel it. I'm not just saying it. I send love. I send love. I want you to feel this, Daniela. I send love. I send love. I send love. At the same time, I'm listening. That's the being in communion. So that's where I want you to play. Looby-doo. Hey, what did the angels say about what you should do about the kale? Ah, that's a great question. The angel said, no, I've got smeary glasses here tonight. The angel said no to writing a review on Google or writing a review on Yelp. They said that the owner is trying very hard and is really, really struggling. And that I a receipt that said, how did you find the service or something? And I gave it a big thumbs down and I shared why. And they said, without meanness, they said that was enough. The message will get to her. Anything else that takes place is her own karma, but you don't need to say or do anything more. Now, I did ask for and got our money back for the salad. After I was open-minded, first I went in and said, I've never heard of yellow kale before. Can you tell me if it's supposed to be this way? And then the waitress came out and said, the chef or the cook, who turns out is the owner, says it is supposed to be that way. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I went out and I tried it. It was not supposed to be that way. And I went in and I kindly asked for my money, but then I went to the angels and I was hearing from the angels during this time period because I operated very slowly and always out of love, never out of this. Nothing good comes of this. Now, I had hoped that either the co-owner or the maitre d' or whomever would say anything more than here's your money back. I didn't get that. My ego wanted more. And so the angels were making it very clear. You did your job, Michael. You got the message across. The rest is not in your hands. And so it was a very, very sweet and gentle way of handling things, yet while drawing our own firm boundaries, because the whole meal was really terrible. Jessica's like, I could have gone out and gotten some broth and poured it over some noodles, and it would have been equally good as this. Actually, the learnings are worth more than the meal itself. So the kale was just the icing on the cake. All right. Carolyn, do you think all experiences with angels communication positive? I thought it had to be, but I kind of had a weird experience that made me wonder. Well, Carolyn, without knowing what the experience is or whom got involved, so far, all experiences that I have heard of. Oh, the angels are there and they're like, well, all experiences are positive on an infinite timeline, and angels are here to help us. But I'm hearing old Bible, Old Testament, angel of death flying over Egypt. They're sharing with me that story. But today, the angels are here to serve us, to guide us, to teach us. Now, here's the rub. And automatic writing, for instance, is an amazing tool. And the more that you learn automatic writing, the more that you begin to hear the voice of angels throughout the day. But angels have a little bit of, I'm going to call it coyote energy to it. And I had a coyote pumpkin for 17 years, or she had me. She actually reappeared in a dream 2 days ago. She was more like Labrador sized. And she gave me a giant hug. Oh my God. Thank you, pumpkin. Oh, oh. That was a visit from heaven from pumpkin. Coyote energy is trickster energy. In other words, it is energy to get you. It's like a Zen master who will ask you, what's the sound of one hand clapping? They're not doing that to mess with your mind, even though they are doing it to mess with your mind. They have the trickster energy behind them to get you out of your thinking state, A, to encourage you to dive inwards, B, and C, to look for a different solution. So I can remember years ago, I wanted this white BMW convertible. And so I went to the angels and said, hey guys, and yes or no questions, asking the angels early on, you're asking for it. Sorry, it's kind of how it works. Hey guys, should I get the white convertible? Red leather seats. And they're like, yeah, go for it. Oh boy. So I started down the road of going for it and did this and did that, and then researched the company that was selling that convertible and found, wow, bad news, bad news, bad news. So I go into automatic writing and I'm like, why did you point me in that direction if it was such bad news? Their answer, so you would learn greater discernment. Oh, and looking for that Beamer helped me the next year to get the Tesla that I really wanted, not the gas-powered car. So the answers you get from the angels will guide you on your path, but they're teachers too. So it's not going to be as black and white. I wish it was. As do this, don't do that. This other thing, never do that. This person hears exactly what you need to say every time. Well, they were very kind with the kale salad. But it's all about helping you to expand and grow. All of it. Next question. Oh, and I think this actually falls in line with the next question. Angels want us to be in communion so our vibration comes up, to be in communion so that we learn greater kindness, compassion, and we'll say the works. But angels also want us to intuit, to feel into things, to gain clarity from our third eye, from our heart, not just from our mind. But they don't want us giving up the keys to the caddy and going, well, you just take it. I'm just going to blindly kick back. It's a co-creative process. Which brings us to Pamela's question. Let me get a little bit of water in here. Brilliant questions. Keep them going. We'll go for about, my guess is another 15, maybe 20 minutes with questions, and we're going to dive into a meditation. Pamela, shouldn't we be taking action for our freedoms? Pamela, to me, the greatest action we can take for our freedom is an inner freedom first. It is really hard to understand. Maybe not so much so, unless we look at the calamities of today. Every calamity of today has been up-leveled with the thinking mind. Every single thing that we butted our heads against has made things worse, has made things more complicated, has made things uglier. every single time until we're at wit's end going, I don't know what to do. That's actually the most beautiful place in the world. That's like a starting point of becoming a mystic. I don't know what to do. I can't think my way out of the box. I can't take an outer action that will get me there. Great. The inner action, the developing of the relationship, the raising of your vibration, the shifting to a heart-centered being, seeing through your third eye and your heart. Those are your two eyes. That will do more to shift the planet than any bill, any act, any weapon, anything. Because at the end of the day, things are both real and they are not. Depending on the level of vibration, they are real at a very low level vibration. They are not at a higher level of vibration. And we have all agreed this low level vibration into existence. We have agreed that we needed war, not on a conscious level, maybe on the other side. We've agreed that we needed war. We've agreed that we needed global calamity and catastrophe. We've agreed that these people need to be hurt and these people need to be poorly treated. No, you didn't consciously choose this. But when we shift on the inside and no longer agree to that, the vibrational state of you changes, the vibrational state of me changes, the vibrational state, somebody like Stephen Greer would say, of 1% of the planet changes. And then there is this wave of change that takes place that far goes above anything that we could have done. There are so many to-dos right now as a species that we can't do them all, and it's coming faster and faster still. Why are all the calamities coming? To knock us out of our minds. Look at the drunk. The drunk gives up drinking when he or she is almost dead, when he or she is wrapped around a tree, when he or she and he nearly loses their partner. In other words, when the situation is so serious that the thinking mind can't get them out of it and they give up and dive in, that everything begins to change. So Pamela, that's where we're going with things. Doesn't mean that you can't take action. Doesn't mean that you're not in a co-creative process. You're in physical body. You're in this meat suit. You're incarnate. Do take action, but take action out of love, never against anything. Mother Teresa, if you have an anti-war protest, count me out. If you have a pro-peace rally, I will be there. That's the higher vibration. That's what we're talking about. See Mantyala. Can our angels present themselves to us in solid form? Yes. Is their true angelic form? In their true angelic form? Yes. And how can we ask them to? Ooh, tricky one. You can ask whether they will show themselves. Good question. They'll do what is for your highest good and the highest good of all. So, for instance, I've had a discussion with them. I said, all right, I'm getting decent at channeling. I'm getting good at this. I'm getting good at that. Why aren't I seeing? Now I do see them on occasion, which gets really interesting. Why don't I see all of the spirits? Why don't I see all of the dead people, all of this stuff? And the answer was, Michael, you wouldn't be able to cross the road, let alone teach or run a show. They give you what you need for where you're at. But you can certainly ask. No harm, no foul. Then the first thing to do is ask, what's your name? Then you can ask the next step beyond that. It doesn't hurt. They may show themselves. They may reveal themselves. They may reveal themselves in different ways, like a feather falling from the sky or a brush of feathers along your arms. But ask. Let's see what happens. Pretty in Pink. How long does it take to recalibrate after remembering something negative? or getting into a rift with a family member? Is your day shot? How can you tell if your frequency is back up? Pretty in pink. Brilliant, brilliant question. The more that you do just this, or the more you learn how to become a modern mystic. In other words, the more that you play with this stuff, the faster and faster you'll bounce back. I've repeatedly surprised Jessica recently where she's like, oh God, he's a goner, because I'll hit a, and the day will be shot. I hit a resonant frequency from my past that, I'm still incarnate as much as anybody else, that would have really taken me down in the past. And Jessica's going, oh no, here we go. My birthday is the recent example. That was a trigger of all things challenging for me. Here we go again, because that would be her wiring, being concerned about my wiring. Completely reasonable, a very good safety mechanism. But then, boom, I'd be like, oh, let's turn this into something special. Doesn't mean I didn't go down. But what I did is I went down and up at the same time. I went down and up at the same time. That's a modern mystic technique. You go down and you're like, oh, help, I'm drowning in the sea and soup of emotion and familial and all of this stuff. At the same time, you go, whoosh, and you get part of you that goes way up here and goes, all right, I'm going to be like a coach and I'm going to watch from the sidelines. All right, there's Michael doing this. Oh, he's about to shoot himself in the foot there. Oh, what's he going to say there? Oh, wow. And you observe. And then you quickly yank yourself right back up. And the more that you do this, the faster and better you get at it. So, in the beginning, it could take that whole day, and then half a day, and then a few hours, and then an hour, and then maybe a few minutes. And then I can't say I'm faster than that on the biggest things. I'm not, to be honest about this. But you could get to the point. I know I'm at the point where the small stuff is like that. Like, oh, that sucked. I love. Or laugh, which is love. So the more you practice, the better you will get at this. Bill Boxall. I think this is going to be, I feel this is going to be, I knew this was going to be another good question. Bill, thank you for asking. How can you commune with the angels when you're full of emotions? I mean, I'm sure they hear you, but how can you listen when you're in that state? Beautiful question, Bill. That's the best time to go into automatic writing. The best time to go lay down on the bed and listen. The best time to go take a salt bath and just be quiet. The best time to go lay on the earth. Okay, yes, it's the best time for tapping and emotion code and things of this sort too. But let's balance the doing with the being, which is really hard when we're rip-roaring mad. But give little pauses in there for them to chase you down. And even with those quote-unquote negative emotions, you'll be able to do just that. Nadia. Hi, Michael. I am able to communicate with my angels, but I do not know names. Nadia, I didn't know most of my angels' names for years. And right now, generally speaking, I will throw out a bunch of names and I do it slowly. So I'll say, good morning, Archangel Michael. And I'll wait for the feather brush to come across me, this kind of wave of tingles or chills, or literally like a feather brushing over me. Good morning, Archangel Raphael. And then I'll wait. Archangel Gabriel, and I'll wait. Archangel Uriel, and wait. And then I'll dive into all sorts of questions. But I will rarely ask, unless there's a specific reason, for a particular angel. I let them amorphically speak to me, whoever wants to step forward. Now, in the past, I couldn't get an answer as to which angel it was. I've gotten a lot better at that. but it doesn't actually matter. Now, with that said, I'm creating an angels course that my guess is will release at some point in September to build a stronger relationship specifically with the angels. And we'll look at different angel by name. For instance, Archangel Michael is the archangel that you go to for protection. He's a badass. But what I also learned from Michael is that he's the archangel to go to when you have obscurations, when you have blurry vision and you need the blurriness to go away so that you can see clearly, or you are overwhelmed and pulled in too many directions, he can pull out his sword and chop away that which doesn't serve you. So it does help in that sense to know which angel to go to. But when you ask questions, the angels will step forward and be able to help you tremendously, even if they haven't given you their name yet. All right, next question is from Betsy. What is the most amusing reply you've gotten from angels that you've received? I'm not going to give you an exact example, but they picked on me lovingly. They don't call me an idiot or anything like that, but they can be rather slapsticky, like a Who's on First routine from, I don't even know what year that was, Abbott and Costello. They can pick on me in a very loving fashion. No sarcasm ever, no snarkiness ever. But they'll certainly be like, you really want to do that? All right, let's see how that one goes. Because they know me. They know me better than I know me. And they know what's going to happen if I do these things. And so it's like your favorite teacher. You're a little kid, and there's a teacher that you really, really look up to. And they may gently make fun with you, not of you, because they're way up here in whatever is going on in life. And you've got this tiny little understanding, although you actually had a really big understanding. But that's about the level of fun they'll play with me. Nancy Haddad, I just got your book. Oh, I started reading it. Yay! Helps so much, and I am a warrior watching the news today. I am a visual artist channeling source from Source My Grace. Lifetime of coping with depression. Any thoughts? Certainly. The simplest and most difficult answer, Nancy, is try at least once a day to shut off the news, which I call the negative wordless stimulation, and dive into your automatic writing just once a day. A more profound answer would be an understanding that until you're able to get to the upper room, the news is as addictive as heroin, far beyond addiction of cocaine. It is powerful stuff, feeding the ego, feeding the worry mind, keeping you in a depressed state. Like attracts like. We ingest at the level we're vibrating at. So if you're feeling poo-poo, you'll turn on the news and eat some of that. And then some junk food and some this and some of that. When you're feeling woohoo, you may, as I've done lately, skim through the news as fast as I can. Is there anything that I need to know for my teaching, for my classes, for my learnings, for everything? Get in, get out, stay far away from it. I am free of it. A modern mystic, by definition, is in the world, but not of the world. And that's where we get you with practice, is being able to swim in the world without defining yourself by the world. So that's where I want you to start. Unplug as much as you can. Use it as an opportunity to dive into automatic writing. The more that you do, that depression gets lighter and lighter still. And I would encourage you also to check out Dr. Bradley Nelson's book, Emotion Code, which can really radically help you with these depressed energetic states as well. They're tremendous for clearing. Can we go to the angels for clearing? Yes. Can we go to the angels in automatic writing for clearing? Yes, 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 yes. But Dr. Bradley Nelson's methodology is phenomenal for helping you get there really, really quickly. Oh my gosh. I can take a few more of these questions, then let's see where we're at. Thank you, everybody, for these beautiful questions. June Murphy, how do we start automatic writing? We have a video-based program. You can get it at automaticwriting.com. You can get it tonight. You can listen to my last live class. You can be starting channeling by morning. That'd be the fastest way. If that's cost prohibitive, and it's relatively inexpensive, but if that's cost prohibitive, then the Kindle is on sale at I think $4.99 starting tomorrow on Amazon. You could get the Kindle and dive right into it. That's where I would start, is one of those two choices. We have a live class because you get the recorded classes when you sign up at automaticwriting.com, and then the next live class and the next one and the next one all come with it. The next live class is the third Thursday of September. So if you got automaticwriting.com today, I would listen to last week's class and then bring all your questions to the next class in 3 weeks. That's where I would begin. Oh, if you do get the Kindle, bring your receipt back to automaticwriting.com and we'll gift you a lot of pieces as well. Brandy Lee, Michael, what are your thoughts of solar weather on our auric and energy field? Yes and no. Okay, so what this means are we are physical beings, but we're not. We are energetic beings having an energetic experience in human form. So in human form, these things all have an effect on us. Solar weather has an effect on us, as does mental weather. What's mental weather? Think back to 9/11. That's mental weather. We were all mental. Think back to this week with Afghanistan. That is mental weather. All of these have an effect on our energetic field, on our aura. But the master is not, how do I put this? Is so awake and aware, and the master is the mystic, is so awake and aware that she or he recognizes the effect and rises up to the upper room. What does that mean? We all go a little bit loco on the full moon. That pull of gravity is huge on us. It's one thing to be pulled hither and thither by the force of gravity. If instead we recognize, today, full moon, I feel it. My emotions are all over the place, sort of like Mercury retrograde. I feel this. I'm drawing inwards. I'm tripping over my own 2 feet. It's real. I will observe it rather than be it. I will observe the nuttiness of the full moon time rather than participate in it. And that's how we can set ourselves free, even with solar weather, even with any of these physical or mental weathers that may come our way. All right, Lucifer. On my day 2 of automatic writing, right at the end, I was getting up from the session. I heard, "Will be on his show." I'm thinking, my show. Was that ego or an actual message? That's a brilliant question. What I would do with that, particularly at automatic writing, because it's really hard to say on day 2, is start asking your automatic writing, is this coming from my ego? Ego always has to say. I don't know why it seems to be a rule, but if you get something that seems outrageous and you ask, is this ego? Ego tends to tell you. So you can do that. It's probably really early in the game to get a clear answer on that, but I take note of it. And who knows, maybe we will be seeing you on the show, but I would take note. And then as you build this relationship, ask, Looby-doo, How does one know when they're in communication and communion with the angels versus guides, or what's the difference? Great question, Luby Doo. How do we know if we're in communication with the angels or our guides? What I'm hearing is, while it's great to go to specific angels or archangels, each one is by design an energetic being on the other side of the veil, there to serve us, help us, and raise our vibration. So while they come from different paths, they come from different backstories, different origins, in many ways, they can both do the same thing. So the big question that I have is, does one help raise your vibration more than the other? And I get a huge no. That both are on the other side of the veil, whether it's an angel or a guide, both are on the other side of the veil and getting in resonance with beings on the other side of the veil. This is the your five best friends and their five best friends. Whether it's a guide or an angel, your vibration is going to go up. So usually my teachings come out of the angels. This teaching came out of Grandpa Kramer, now a guide on the other side, vibrating at a higher level. Coolest thing that he shared with me. Go there tonight. I got to start to wrap things or wind things down here because my assistant, Allie, for instance, will need to get to sleep. But what I was told is that even angels and guides are on their own spiritual journey, are on their own path to ascension, are learning themselves, obviously at a much higher level, a higher level than I can understand, but they are growing closer to love, even on the other side, growing closer to source, growing closer to spirit. And you go, yeah, but on the other side, aren't you all one? Aren't you spirit already? Yes, on one level, but apparently the paradox is that you can still be closer and closer still to maybe the fullness of source. I don't know in my 3D mind how that works, but my grandfather was explaining that even angels and guides are working on their own ascension, which I just found mind-blowing. I'm going to ask a lot more about that as well. Can a totem angel animal be an angel? Interesting. Angels can be, animals can be angels, but usually angels influence animals so that we look at their particular qualities. Angels like to speak to us with the 3 S's: signs, symbols, and synchronicities. And so oftentimes they will put an animal in our path because animals are easier to, I don't know if I want to use the term manipulate, but sway and move. And for instance, when I first met, and I'll put that in quotes, my guardian angel Maximilian, he showed up in mountain lion form, literally in mountain lion form. In a video I was recording, he hopped up from behind me. I was inside the house. He was outside of the house. Jessica got on film. Her jaw hit the floor. I'm going, why is your jaw hitting the floor when you're supposed to be recording me? She's like, let me show you in the camera. I'm like, oh. But that was just his way of showing himself, influencing the mountain lion, who is certainly a totem animal of mine. A totem animal, we look at what they represent, what is their message. He was trying to get my attention to show me who he is in animal form this lifetime, meaning that he, my guardian angel, expresses the qualities of a lion: quiet yet powerful, proud yet judicious, compassionate yet fierce, and with a mighty roar. But that he was not that actual lion himself. He was just helping move the lion around for me to get the message. Last 2 questions here. These have been brilliant tonight. Thank you guys so much. Veronica, I've had prophetic dreams through life. Through life X. I'm not sure what the X means there. My apartment name and the lottery numbers. How do I open the channel for more heavenly prophetic dreams? Veronica would start by asking for it, A. B, writing things down. C, I would work. So you are certainly an astral traveler, somebody who plays in the etheric field, who plays on the etheric and ethereal planes. I would start looking into lucid dreaming, how you can become awake and aware in your dreams. An easy place to start. There's some brilliant books on it. And an easy place to start, though, is, let's say that you look at your watch a lot to tell the time, or that you look at your phone a lot to tell the time. What I'd like you to start doing is, in a dream, when you look at the time twice, it always changes. And you've seen that before. You've been in a dream and it's like 6 o'clock, you look in again and it's 12:15, and you might scratch your head for a second and then you don't think about it. You go about your dream day, which is every bit as real as this day. What I want you to do is, if you look at your watch or if you look at your phone in this world, then whenever you look at it twice and say, am I dreaming or am I awake? And right now it says 9:56. So I get to wind this down and get into a meditation. If you look at it, it says 9:56, and you look at it again, it says 2:02. You're like, oh, wait, I'm dreaming. Boom. And suddenly you are awake and aware and free in your dreams. And now you can move around in your dreams. And now you can get a better, higher level perspective of what's going on. You've set yourself free. So I'd set intention each night before I go to sleep. Angels, guides, light workers, whomever, whatever, please help bring me heavenly prophetic dreams. I would write them down, and then I would work on lucid dreaming. All right. And Yemena and Elsa, I do see your question. I will see what I can do. This is a question that's been asked of me before. If my team can help me with it, I would love to start getting down some recommended books for people. Yemena, if I ask Archangel Uriel for help, even if I have never considered the idea, will he be close? 100%. To me, angels, poor angels, are waiting in the unemployment line. They've got like this pink slip or something, and they're going, please, somebody, anybody. You guys, they're looking down at us going, you all used to call on us. We were simpatico. We were buds. We did everything together until a couple thousand years ago when mind came about, whether we call it Western religion or the time of the eagle versus the condor or vice versa. Mind came into play, and we eschewed and we pushed away spirit and the angels. And they're saying, we would love to help. Please start calling on us. We are bored. They grow by helping us. It is their honor. I hear duty too, but not in the way of they have to do it. This is what they are meant to do on their path upwards. But what we get to do is ask them. So incredibly important. We get to make the ask. So with that said, I'm going to make the ask one more time. You want to become a modern mystic. You want to learn how to do these things and to vibrate at that higher level. Join us for our School of Mystics. Can't tell I'm kind of excited like a kid in a candy store. And I'm sure there are people here in the chat room who can tell you what our classes have been like lately and why I'm like a kid in a candy store. Come join us. There's a link. Allie is putting the link down below. Come join us a week from Wednesday. You can get, actually, if you sign up right now, you get every single one of the classes that we've made up till now. And so you can be going through class after class after class, raising vibration, going a little bit nuts. I don't need to binge watch classes, but you can have some real fun with it before we even dive in and get started. I would go through this month's, because this really was a month that I took everybody as we looked at the wisdom from ancient Egypt, as we looked at techniques with mirrors and mirror pearls and Mercury and a box in the sky, a box in the stars. As we looked at all of these techniques and as above, so below, everybody became a little bit more of a mystic this month. And so I'd sign up for the School of Mystics. get the replays from this month, begin diving in. And then I'll see you on September 8th, Wednesday, September 8th at the same time basically as this, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific for a live class. You'll be able to ask your questions. You'll meet some amazing homies. You'll have a Facebook group where you can communicate and grow. And it's just this awesome community of future mystics and some present day mystics, modern mystics, coming together as one. So that link will be there. And again, you can get the whole automatic writing program at automaticwriting.com, video-based program with last month's class and with all of our live classes coming up on each third Thursday of the month. And if you want a book, there's the Kindle sale tomorrow as well. $4.99 for the Kindle. How does it get any better than this? How does it get any better than this? So I'm going to take a sip of water, and we are going to dive into a very brief angel-led meditation. Whew. For everyone in the Gulf, for everyone with the fires, for everyone with I'm going to call it a COVID fire, a cytokine storm, everyone in Afghanistan, and everyone that is challenged anywhere on Mother Earth. So let me take a sip of water, and we're going to dive into that. Thank you so much for joining us here this evening. How does it get any better than this? And let's dive into things. Thanks for hanging in this long. We've just been some brilliant questions. I'm blessing my water. All right. Good stuff. What I'd like you to do is to sit back and relax. Kind, gentle, easy, good. That's my mantra. Kind, gentle, easy, good. May everything come to me from the angels. Kind, gentle, easy, good. I am listening. I am listening. I am listening. So have you repeat that with me one more time. Kind, gentle, easy, good. I am listening. I am listening. I am listening. So as you're sitting back, nice and relaxed, I want you to imagine a giant circle of everyone who is listening here tonight, past, present, and future. And you reach out and take the hand of someone to your right in this giant circle of listeners, future mystics. To the left, here and above and below. That's more than two hands, angels. See, there's an angel joke going on. Smile. As you're holding hands, I want you to smile your biggest, toothiest inner grin that you possibly can. Smile on the inside from ear to ear. And why are we smiling so much? Because I want you to feel now as there's an angel who's appeared behind you, don't worry, perfectly safe, and is putting her or his feathery wings against your back and your arms, holding you snugly and securely, letting you know everything is and will be completely all right. Can you feel their love? Can you feel their support? Hmm. Can you feel their wings right against your skin? Thank you, angels. Thank you, angels. Thank you, angels. And now, what we know about group prayer and group meditation is that when we set the intention of helping anyone, it doesn't just help them, it helps all of us. Like, there's an amazing book I recommend, The Power of Eight by Lynn McTaggart, hard-nosed journalist who empirically studied this. When you send love and prayers and intention and well wishes to another, it comes right back your way. So I want you to imagine that there's a campfire at the center of this giant circle with a violet blue flame. This is the flame of Saint Germain, the flame that burns away every single thing that doesn't serve us. So what I'd like you to do now is think of the hurricane in the Gulf, the howling winds, the driving rains, the sea surge that's relentless and hasn't ended. And I would like you to take all of these things that put lives at danger, put lives at risk, and I'd like you to throw them into this violet blue flame and watch them be burned up. And a little ash poofs out of the fire, except it's little glitters of gold. So take a minute, think of all of the quote negatives and throw them into this violet blue flame. Hopefully you feel a little more at peace. And now let's move on to Afghanistan. And I would like you to take anything that you feel doesn't serve anyone there. And I'd like you to take that and throw it too into the violet blue flame and watch those glitters of gold come right up. And now I'd like us to go to people who are impacted by the fires all around the world, who are in fear for their homes, for their lives, for their livelihood. Jessica and I had 2 fires come close while we were in Colorado. We completely understand this. And on a spiritual level, all of us, because we're infinite beings having lived infinite lifetimes, have had to deal with this very thing. But I'd like you to take the fire itself, the toxic and noxious fumes, and I'd like you to throw them into the violet blue flame and watch them be consumed, turning into that glittering gold and helping people get through this time in the kindest, gentlest, easiest fashion possible. Remember the angel behind you. Everything you're doing here tonight, you have the support of an angel who's literally holding you up with her or his wings. And now, last but not least, although if you know someone who's suffering, feel free to include them in here. Last but not least, let's go to everyone who is struggling or in the ER or in really bad shape with COVID. The hospitalization numbers are through the roof right now. And let's take every single one of their challenges, the cytokine storm overwhelming their heart, the inflammation, the inability to breathe from the cytokine overwhelming the lungs. Whatever symptoms or challenges they're experiencing. And let's take them and throw them too in that violet blue flame, watching the ash come up as glittering gold. Maybe you even want to collect a little bit of it. Only good there. And then repeat after me. Thank you, angels. Thank you, guides. Thank you for helping everyone. Thank you for keeping people safe. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your light. And thank you for your most amazing support. How does it get any better than this? How does it get any better than this? Woohoo! I think I have Jessica sleeping in the other room. I have Ruru who's already asleep. Although I'm going to have to get him up for a little bit, or he is going to need me to walk him on the beach at like 5 tomorrow morning. So he has an 8-hour timer. Ruru is our rooster. But I'm so glad you could join me here this evening. I hope so much you had a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful night. I want to wish you the sweetest, sweetest, sweetest of dreams ahead. And I can't wait to see as many of you as can make it to our School of Modern Mystics in a week and a powerful, powerful. You're powerful. It's the inner work that matters now. It's your thoughts. It's your emotions. It's how much that you wake up that matters. So I see somebody here saying they can't afford it. We have a very limited number of scholarships, but you can reach out to us. And I think we have a form to fill out. My team has been most amazing on that. You can reach out to us. And we can see if we can get you in. But we would love to help you on your path to ascension, because if we help you, you help someone else and they help someone else, and on and on and on it goes. Somebody just wrote to Mark on him, tomorrow is toasted marshmallow day. How does it get any better than this? All right. Love you guys so, 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 so much. Have the most amazing evening ahead, the most amazing week ahead. We'll see you soon. Links probably one more time and down below. I'll put it in myself here. Let's see if I can get the link here. There we go. I forgot. It's hugely on sale right now. How does it get any better than this? There's the link one more time. Love you guys so, so much. Oh, thank you, Allie. See you soon. And keep on shining bright. Woohoo! Love you, everyone. Good night, everybody.